What if I told you that one of America's most famous late-night shows has just been pulled off air? And Donald Trump isn't just celebrating, he's demanding more cancellations. This is not just about Jimmy Kimmel, this is about the future of free speech, comedy, and politics in America. Today, we dive deep into the shocking suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live, Trump's explosive reaction, and the bigger question: are we entering a new era of media censorship, or is this accountability long overdue? Just days ago, ABC made the stunning announcement that Jimmy Kimmel Live would be suspended indefinitely. The trigger came after controversial comments Kimmel made during one of his monologues. The backlash was immediate. Affiliates like Nexstar Media began pulling the show from their stations, creating immense pressure on ABC. Even the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, weighed in, warning Disney and ABC about the consequences. Within days, the show was off the air, ending more than 2 decades of late-night comedy. This wasn't just a quiet suspension, it was a chain reaction. Pressure from affiliates, political figures, and online outrage created a storm ABC could no longer ignore. And who do you think was the first to celebrate? None other than Donald Trump. For years, Kimmel had mocked Trump during his presidency. Night after night, Trump was the target of jokes, ridicule, and harsh commentary. Trump often fired back, calling Kimmel boring, talentless, and desperate for ratings. In early 2025, Trump even said he wanted to play a role in Kimmel's cancellation. And now, he claims victory. On Truth Social, Trump posted, "Great news for America. The ratings-challenged Jimmy Kimmel Show is canceled." For Trump, this wasn't just news. It was personal revenge, a moment of triumph after years of being the butt of Kimmel's jokes. But Trump didn't stop there. He turned his attention to NBC. He demanded that Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show and Seth Meyers' Late Night should also be canceled. According to Trump, these shows are nothing but anti-American propaganda disguised as comedy. Think about that for a moment. A former president of the United States openly calling for major late-night shows to be taken off the air. For some, this is accountability for years of media bias. For others, it's a dangerous step toward censorship, and that's the heart of the debate. Supporters of the suspension argue that comedians have crossed too many lines, spreading misinformation under the guise of jokes, and it's about time they faced consequences. But critics warn that this is dangerous. If political leaders can silence comedians, then freedom of expression itself is at risk. Civil rights groups are already raising alarms, saying, if they cancel Kimmel today, who's next tomorrow? On the other side, conservatives argue that comedians are not untouchable. If regular citizens can face consequences for what they say online, why should late-night hosts get a free pass? Reactions across America have been divided. Democrats, artists, and journalists are calling this a direct attack on free speech. Trump supporters, on the other hand, see it as justice, payback for years of what they describe as liberal bias on television. On social media, the debate is raging. Hashtags like #CancelKimmel and #FreeSpeech are trending, each side pushing its own narrative. International media outlets are reporting this story as yet another sign of America's deepening culture wars. And ordinary viewers are left asking, will late-night comedy ever be the same again? But this story goes even deeper. Late-night comedy has always had a political edge. Johnny Carson poked fun at politicians, Jay Leno kept things light but topical, and Jon Stewart changed the game by mixing comedy with hard-hitting political commentary. But never before has a former president directly influenced the cancellation of a major late-night host. That makes this moment historic. It sets a precedent. If networks give in once, will they give in again? If politicians can pressure networks into silence, what does that mean for the future of comedy and entertainment in America? This could be remembered as a turning point, the day when comedy and politics officially collided and a joke became powerful enough to end a career. Some see it as justice, others see it as censorship, but nobody can deny that the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel has changed the landscape forever. So here's where we stand. Jimmy Kimmel's show is off the air. Donald Trump is celebrating, and he's already demanding more cancellations. Supporters see this as accountability for biased comedy. Critics see it as an attack on freedom of speech. But one thing is clear. This is bigger than Kimmel, bigger than Trump. This is about who gets to control America's conversation. So, what do you think? Is this the end of late-night bias, or the beginning of political censorship in America? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world today.